Eve, we are live. First point of order, please let me know in the chat that I am indeed live and we are about to embark on this journey towards glory in Australia in 2027. And I'll do the proper. Yes, I think we're on and we're going. So let me just say thank you very much for joining me. It's I'll say very early in the morning. It's 8:45 a.m. in the UK and Ireland. Wherever it is where you are, let me just say hola, ciao, bonjour, ni hao, bună ziua, kia ora, good day, bula, talofa, malo e lele, hesi, gia rich. Sorry to if you're Gaelic. How's it brew? Have I missed anyone? How good is this? Here we are. Thank you for joining me. I'm just trying this, and I warn you at the very outset, I am. This whole channel is just me, so this operation is just me. So something's going to go wrong, inevitably. But hey, that'll be part of the fun of it. I mean, the first thing that might go wrong is that World Rugby decide to just take this stream down as soon as their stream begins. But hopefully they'll actually let this one go, and we'll have a bit of fun. Well, that's pretty good off the bat, isn't it? But good morning. Thank you very much for joining me. Guten Morgen. So we got Germany in the house as well. Not in the Rugby World Cup, but part of the rugby universe as well. We've also got possibly Norway's only rugby fan there. Hi, Pash Nordahl. Bula Vinaka. Yes. Good day, mate. Here we are. We're all united by rugby wherever we are in the world. And it's going to be what are we now? Just under 2 years until the Rugby World Cup. Still a way to go, but here we are. I will get to the chat. There's some questions already that people got in. How different do you think the current world rankings will be when the World Cup actually starts? That's a good question. Stick a pin in that one. I'll come to that. I'll just take you through the way this is going to work. So as you can see, the stream is there. There's some lovely music playing at the minute. When it begins, I'll begin. I don't know how they're doing the World Cup draw exactly, when they're doing it exactly. There may well be a whole half hour of build-up, in which case, grab a brew and we're in for the long haul. If they get straight into it, we'll get in straight into it. I've got some... I've built this, right? Let me show you this. I've built this. No expense spared. Not quite TV broadcast quality, but as the draw happens, we can build the pools. The only one we know at the moment, Australia in Pool 2. Pool A, sorry. The second team in Pool A. As you can see, the 4 pools there. But, oh, no, I've budged up. See, I told you something could go wrong. There we go. So we'll build the pools as they go. I've got that going on. Also, in fact, there you go. There's the 24 teams that are taking part in the World Cup. I'll leave it with that for the time being, and we'll come back to the pool when it happens. Let me have a look at some of the questions. Can we have some fun simulating the World Cup if it happened today with the groups as a laugh? Well, I'll tell you what. Right, I'll tell you what. What pool would you either like most, think would be most fun? Because looking at that, so there's going to be one team from each band in a Rugby World Cup pool from bands 1, 2, 3, 4. The thing that immediately jumped out at me was, well, a couple of things. Australia, Wales and Japan are all in band 2, which means, Australia, Fiji and Wales. Australia, Fiji and Wales are all in band 2, so they cannot play each other, which is going to be, that's going to feel weird, that not being a pool game. Between those teams, but also there is the possibility of Samoa, Tonga and Fiji all in the same pool. It could be bruising for someone. Also a quick mention for those guys in band 4, well, band 3 and 4, who have either not been in a Rugby World Cup for a while. It's going to be really, really cool to see that. And I think they're the big winners of this World Cup format. We can go through the whys and wherefores of what you think is good and bad. And there are some positives. There are some questionable things for sure. Oh, is the stream beginning? Oh, no, that's just an advert. I'm getting adverts for blooming Tai Chi everywhere I go. I don't know if it's like my age. Someone's trying to tell me something, but these Tai Chi adverts are non-stop. I can't see any advantage to the pool. To the expansion to 24 teams. Well, the development of the lower tier sides. In fact, let's go through this. So here are the 24 teams in the 4 bands. Oh, sorry. So theoretically, hi Josh. Theoretically, the pool of death: South Africa, Australia, Georgia, Samoa. Yeah, that'd be brutal. I don't think there's going to be a pool of death. Well, that could be a. I don't know if you'd class that as a pool of death. It's not quite what it was in 23 with South Africa, Ireland, Scotland. I don't think there'll be a pool of death. I think there's not going to be much jeopardy in the pool stages. I'll go through this. There's going to be lots and lots of jeopardy between the lower ranked teams in the pool stages, because 4 of the band 3 teams, or band 3 or 4 teams, you would think if you go by world 3 in 4 of the pools, there are going to be 4 third place teams that go through. That's what I'm trying to say. When we have a look at the right, I'll tell you what. Tell me what you think about this. A lot has been made of the knockout stage with the round of 16 added. It means we get 52 games instead of 48. It means 4 of those lower ranked teams, at least, depending on how the pools work out, will go through. 4 third place teams will go through. And that's an opportunity for knockout games. Now, on the one hand, that means that you could have some very, very one-sided knockout matches. You could theoretically get South Africa, for example, playing against Uruguay in a round of 16 game. That could be potentially quite ugly. As a score, great for Uruguay or whoever makes it through, but that could happen. But here you go. Here's what I think one of the things we need to look out for in the pools when they're happening. And I'm looking at the stream. It's not starting yet. Tell me if you agree with this or not. If I could pick somewhere for my team, England, to go, it would be in Pool E or Pool F. Because the winner of Pool E or Pool F has a potentially tricky round of 16 game. They will play a runner-up in a pool. You can see the bottom left and then over towards the right-hand side. But in the quarterfinal, they would also play a runner-up, because inevitably with 6 pools going into 16 teams, there are going to be runners-up that play against each other. You could avoid another pool winner. If you are in Pool E and win Pool E, or in Pool F and win Pool F, you are not going to meet, if you make it through, another pool winner until the semi-finals. And when we think back to 2023, it was New Zealand, Ireland, and South Africa against France. And as an Englishman, I was quite happy for my team to be away in Marseille, away from that. And Fiji pushed England hard in the quarterfinals, but I was quite happy avoiding those teams until the semi-final. So I think if there is any issue with the draw, it's the fact that there is a definite advantage to being in Pool E or Pool F if you end up being the pool winner. Otherwise, what you do, you get a third place team in the round of 16, which is easier on paper. And then you get a much trickier quarterfinal where it's going to be pool winners going head to head, which could be a South Africa against France. It could be New Zealand against England, if those teams finish top. England are definitely going to get Scotland or Italy in their pool. Yeah, inevitable. I mean, also, here's the other thing. Clearly, with the way I've just described the advantage being in Pool E or Pool F, Ireland fans, you already know the deal. You're not going in Pool E or Pool F, are you? There's the rugby gods. Are they going to let the quarterfinal victory happen this time? We will wait and see. I'm not the only one. Hi, Rob. Tai Chi adverts all over his YouTube as well. All right. Maybe we're men of a certain age. I don't know. Hoping the Springboks have a slightly easier draw than in 2023. Hi, Gerhard. Morning to you. Yeah, so are Scotland and Ireland fans. Let's be clear. Ireland out in the quarterfinals. Ross Moore tours. There's a chance Ireland get past the quarterfinals. If Ireland get in Pool E or Pool F, they should be doing a jig. no Irishman I know is getting ahead of themselves, but let's see. We are still, the stream hasn't started. I've just checked. So yeah, all we know to be the case, let's have a look at this. The little thing I've built is that Australia are in Pool B. But let's war game this one out then. The hardest possible pool, I think, is South Africa out of pot 1. Georgia out of pot 3. And who do you reckon out of pot 4? Samoa. I think that's the toughest possible pool that could be assembled in this World Cup draw. And if you're Australia, you would be a little bit nervous of that. And you're going to be, whoever gets through from... And actually, the tricky part is for Georgia, who... They're one of the teams that stand to benefit from the new format with 4 third-place teams going through. If they're in a really, really tough pool, there is a chance that Georgia and Samoa sort of cancel each other out. And other teams, other third-place teams, would sneak through. The easiest pool Australia could get, with the greatest of respect to these teams... Oh, no, they can't get Japan because they're already in that. I'm only going by world rankings here. Don't hate me, Argentina. Argentina... No, not Tonga. I'm gonna go USA. Sorry, USA. And what do you reckon? I'm gonna, for argument's sake, Hong Kong, China. See, Australia and Argentina would be a belter of a game. That would be great. Whoever's in Australia's pool, that pool game is going to be massive. The battle for the top spot. And then actually, it's down to the battle between USA and Hong Kong. Whichever one of the teams wins that match could get themselves into the knockout stages, if they can also pick up a try bonus point here or there. So, there you go. We'll come back to that one. Let me get to the chat. I'm not really paying attention enough to the chat, and I really do appreciate you being here. Springboks in Pool A or Pool F. Dream pool for England, Tim. My dream pool is. Thank you, Joshua, for your question. My dream pool is that we're in Pool E or F, and after that, I don't mind. And that also means Australia are not going to be in Pool E or Pool F. So that's one, that you avoid Australia, the highest ranked team there. So there's a couple of reasons to be in Pool E or F. You definitely avoid Australia, who are a bit of a banana skin of a second ranked team, as are Fiji and Scotland. And in 2 years' time, Italy could be as well, 100%. And who knows, the resurrection of Wales... 2 years might be too short a time horizon, but you never know. On any given day and all that, a red card, a purple patch, it can all happen. So yeah, so dream pool just E or F if I'm England. Pool A for the Pumas. Yeah, that would be tough for Argentina. Ireland and quarterfinals in the same sentence. Hey, you know what? It could happen. This could be the time. And also, if I were Irish, I would be feeling a little bit better, just been absolutely pumped by South Africa. But that is the opposite of where we've been before 2019, when Ireland were world ranked number 1 in 2017. And, you know, everyone getting very excited about a potential new World Cup winner and the green of Ireland. How far off is the draw? And appreciate the stream. I appreciate you being here, Mario. Well, it should be getting underway in 2 minutes. I'll flip to... Oh, yeah. One more thing before we go back to the actual draw. One thing I thought I'd bring to your attention is this. This was the draw for the World Cup in 2023. And I think this demonstrates that the old pool had a kind of elegance to it with just 4... there was 5 pools of 4. The top 2 going through. Only 8 teams getting through. There was proper jeopardy in those pools, as we can see. Wales, Australia, Fiji. South Africa, Ireland, Scotland. Those pools were brutal. And less so with Japan last time round, but in previous years, Japan have been really, really good. So massive jeopardy in the pool stages, and then you're straight into the quarterfinals. I do think that maybe is a better format for jeopardy all the way through. But on the flip side is the teams in 4th and 5th in that pool were they were just there making up the numbers and just there for the experience, whereas now they've actually got a genuine crack at making the knockouts, and that could be the most interesting part of the pool. Also, because we're now doing the draw a little bit closer to the World Cup, still nearly 2 years away, but closer, They weren't even the qualifiers when they did them last time. America's won, Africa won. At least we're doing the draw now, and we actually know the players that are going, the teams, sorry, that are going to be selected, which is way better. So I think it's a step on from last time. All right, should we get ready for? Let's get ready for the draw. There is the stream. You'll see when it starts. I'll turn the sound up when it does start. And thank you for being here. You could have gone to the official place, and that's cool. Maybe you're double streaming and you're doing that as well. I just went to... Oh, no, that better not be the case. I just went to the Supersport Rugby channel, and it says the draw is actually 11:15. That's an hour and a quarter away. Here we go. All right, let's see what this fella's got to say. Can you...
Making the path to World Cup glory just that little bit clearer.
Can you hear that all right?
To contest the tournament than ever before, the 11th edition of the Men's Rugby World Cup, to be hosted in Australia, is set to be a record-breaking event. So let's gear up and get ready to go all out.
Okay. Does it sound okay? Just like give me a thumbs up or whatever. I've dropped it down. Oh, Gregan and Wilco.
Here we
Nice.
go. Here we go.
What animal is the mascot, by the way? I don't know. I'm ignorant on this. What animal is that? Like bearded dragon or something? What is it?
24 teams ready to go all out.
Oh yes, the time has come. Hello and welcome. Great to have you.
Just realised I should have probably like done that screen bigger and my screen smaller, because most of the screen you're going to be taking up with me doing exactly what you're doing, just sitting and staring. All right, I don't believe this guy's going to say anything too interesting. I'll give him a second. All right.
This evening, and joined by international rugby royalty, we've got two dual Rugby World Cup winners in Dan Carter and Tim Horan, and Olympic Rugby Sevens gold medalist Alicia Lucas here to talk us through what is set.
I think my first instinct was correct.
It's a very special occasion tonight. I know we're all buzzing. How special is it for you?
Yeah, I'm bored of that. I'd much rather answer some questions. Oh, it's 11:05 in South Africa now. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it's 2 hours ahead. I thought South Africa was an hour ahead. I'm going there next week, so I should probably know that. Someone was on MDMA creating that advert. Oh, do you know what? Let them go for it. Oh, so that means the World Cup draw itself is actually 12 minutes away. Excellent. Right. 12 minutes. We got time for some questions then. I think having South Africa and Australia's pool might actually be the best case scenario for us Aussies. That way we only have to play them. And oh, that's an interesting point. I hadn't considered that. Because it's going to be easier to get through to the knockout stages, being in South Africa's pool, yeah, it means you avoid them. Interesting. The old Sasha FM is on the panel talking about Dan Carter. Let's see what Dan Carter's got to say.
Heartbreak in those early Rugby World Cups that I was involved in. So fourth time around to have such an incredible victory alongside my best mates was a memory that I'll never forget.
Yeah, absolutely. Memories for a lifetime.
Absolute legend. Urban's World Cup at risk. Yeah, have you noticed that like the disciplinary thing? I don't remember this the last time this happened, where it's been moved back days apparently, and this is just rumour, so I don't know, because they cannot agree on the sanction. So I don't know about that. I don't think it's going to be a 2-year ban, but Tim, if there was a World Cup tomorrow, who is in the final? Well, it depends on this draw, but South Africa are one of the teams that are there, and I'm going to say France. I think people are sleeping on France still. We did not see the best of them in November. They have elite... For a World Cup, hopefully they will get their domestic league sorted, so they actually get the players not exhausted at the end of a year, having played a 30-game season in the top 14 and trying to squeeze all the internationals in as well. They have the potential to self-implode, but they also have the potential to win their first ever World Cup. So I would say South Africa, France. England v South Africa final, says Dragon Fury. If there was one pick tomorrow. Oh, there you go. Tyson Wilson's just giving us a bit more detail on Eben Etzebeth. He has to attend a World Rugby eye gouge course. Okay, cool. I'd love to buy you a beer if you're in Durban. I'm going to be in Durban for the Sharks v Bulls game. And I'm going to be in Port Elizabeth for La Rochelle v Stormers. Aussie Mad Max. Oh, yeah, you might be watching it on a slight delay. That was the advert. Yeah, Mad Max. That's what the advert was. That's what it was based on. Nice. Agree about France. In South Africa, the team depth is deeper than potholes. Hey, you want to see the potholes round my way? We're not going into politics and anything like that. Oh, Monocular Fogey. Thank you. Thank you. Would you endorse mittens for gouges? Mittens for Eben. That would be a punishment. You can carry on playing rugby, but you got to do it with those. Yeah, if they're the woolly ones, like with no fingers, just the right round the top, and there's a bit of string, and it's sewn into the back of his shirt. Yeah, I'd be up for that. I'm going to bet £1,000 on a Hong Kong v Chile final. Hey, I'll take that bet if you want to just. You could just burn £1,000. At least you get some warmth out of it during winter. 2 years is so long yet, so much in terms of form. You are absolutely right on that. Who is the dark horse in the draw? Who's the dark horse in the draw? Who do you reckon? It's a good question, Daniel. Who is the dark horse? Well, Georgia's the one you want to avoid in pot 3. I don't know. And Samoa is the one you probably want to avoid in pot 4. Although Portugal, if they can get it together, they've gone off not as good as they were last time. Argentina. Yeah, do you know what? Argentina have massively improved. In fact, that's one thing to look at. Let me just show you that again. The 2023 World Cup draw. Amazing to look at. Wales, top seeds. That is what's happened in the space of just space of a few years. And Argentina were third seeds in the last Rugby World Cup. And now they're top seeds, rightly so. And that just goes to demonstrate, if Argentina get 2 years better... In fact, that's a question. Of the teams that have never won the World Cup before, who do you think will be the first new side to win a Rugby World Cup? Because you're looking at Ireland and France and Argentina and Wales and Scotland. I think Argentina could be that team if they continue the development they're showing. And the whole Spanish-speaking universe is probably the fastest growing in terms of development. With we've got Chile in there, Uruguay. I know Portugal speak Portuguese, but nearly Spanish. Sorry, everyone in Portugal. France. Yeah, Argentina and France seem to be the most common answers. We're nearly there. So we are 7 minutes away from the draw happening. Italy. Hey, Italy are improving. Did you see Rassie Erasmus gave his verdict on the Six Nations and said he thinks Italy could finish second or third this year, which would be a best ever performance from them. They've got some absolute ballers, Zuliani and Menoncello. I'd want to avoid, out of the pool 2 teams, I'd rather have, with the greatest of respect, I'd rather have Japan or Wales, big time. And I would rather have USA, Chile. It's a bit sad how Tonga and Samoa. This is why the current draw, I think, is better. Whilst it does make for less jeopardy in the pool stages, we have to get more better teams. And when you look at the decline in Tonga and Samoa, those are teams that we should have really nurtured a lot better, and so they can get stronger. So how am I going to work this when the actual World Cup draw happens? We'll watch it here. They're talking about the All Blacks there, Dan Carter. Let's see what he's got to say about the ABs. Everyone's a bit down on them.
But they realise they're not at a level yet to go on and win a World Cup. So a lot of work to be done over the next 2 years.
The expectations for New Zealand in rugby are always high, but they are still number 2 in the world rankings at the moment. It's not just about the teams in Band 1, those top 6 sides. There are dark horses, there are entertainers, there are fairy tale stories right across the 4 bands. Tim, I know when you look at some of those nations that are going to contest the World Cup in 2027, I know you're excited to see Portugal back in action.
Yeah, well, they were great last World Cup 2 years.
Yes, they're talking about some of the smaller teams. That Portugal win against Fiji, one of the great World Cup moments. It's just amazing. Gets hairs on the back of your neck stuff, isn't it? That was so good. I wish I'd been at that game. Wow, what a memory. Thank you very much, Pierre Duplessis. Live stream is great, Tim, especially this time in the morning. Your channel's great. Well, I appreciate you, and thank you very much for being here. Yeah, 2,500 people watching. That's mad. This, honestly, the number of times I just kind of go, how did this end up being a thing? How did this happen? All I did was the last World Cup. That was the big game changer. It was the last Rugby World Cup. I just hired a camper van, went to France, and the channel took off. So if you've been with me since then, thank you. Really appreciate it. DuPont will miss the 27 World Cup because it's in the it's in the Southern Hemisphere. Do you know what? One thing I noticed was that France suddenly managed to, when there was the threat of R360, which seems to have gone away now, maybe for good, certainly for a couple of years, suddenly that they managed to, in France, say, oh, yeah, we can change the end of our season so we can get a Club World Cup. But the global season's got to be sorted, and then that won't be an issue. You cannot play 12 months of the year. Irish players hardly play for their provinces. Well, certainly Leinster players hardly play for their provinces until the big knockout games. In South Africa, they look at the number of games that they play for the provinces. The big players in the national team that play in South Africa or in Japan, they don't play many club matches. And in France, and that's because in South Africa, in England, in Ireland, in pretty much all countries except for France, the national team is what funds the whole game. Whereas in France, the domestic league funds the whole game. So they have to play the top 14, but they've got to sort this out at some point. We are getting very, very close, 3 minutes away. Oh, okay. I'm just trying to get through some questions. Only issue with the new pool format is impossible for Australia, Wales and Fiji to be drawn together. I know, that's going to feel strange. Watch out for Zimbabwe at the next World Cup. They could be a dark horse. Yeah, do you know what? When you think about the number of players that could have played for Zimbabwe over the years, and obviously the ostracisation, the national team not really there, and so yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think we're about to go. Oh, Sean Maloney, I love this guy's voice. When he calls rugby matches, I really like him.
Into some of the World Cup defining moments from across the history of the tournament.
He's not excited enough in this.
We're going to start with South Africa, this juggernaut that has gone back. What do we make of what they've done so far, the men out of the Republic?
Well, I've got the balance right. I mean, they're just freaks. The thing about South Africa is since their 95 nation-defining victory, they're now presenting as the country and team most prepared to play World Cup rugby. They're just so good at tournament rugby. Power game, influence in the back line. They've got athletes coming from all over the world hoops. You don't seem to be able to find a weakness.
Yeah, the way the game is refereed and how they can utilise that with the members of the squad they've got and push every element of that is just, it's unrivalled at the moment. They've obviously got the cattle, they've got the belief, they've got the experience. It's exceptional.
Looking ominous at the minute. Hi, Egon. Thank you very much for your message and super chat. Appreciate that. Love your work. Who's the dark horse for the cup? Dark horse for the cup. Dark horse for the cup. Argentina. Who's your money on? South Africa. How long would you ban Airborne for? I think he deserves a pretty significant ban. People have been talking about what happened beforehand. I think that would actually, weirdly, I think that would only make it worse. If he did it in retaliation for his eye getting attacked, that actually makes it worse and not accidental. So if I were him, I would not be trying to make that argument. I think it'll be three months, something like that.
It was power meets power, right? And then creativity and flair of South Africa. That's the difference. This team now, they're just powerful across every position. But
Canada is in the house. Charles Windsor, great to have Canada back. That's one of the shames of international rugby. That Canada have not kicked on. They were at World Cups in the past. They were doing really well. Had some famous wins. They beat Wales, didn't they, once? But Yeah, it's a sad state. Tim, what do you think about the door being open to Fiji making their first ever semi-final? If they get South Africa in their pool, they can avoid them. They could definitely beat a band one nation. That's a shout, actually. Fiji to a semi-final. That could be that's a good call. And then anything can happen. That'd be great. Tim, and also we'll have had 2 years of 1 year of the Nations Championship competition as well. So a bit more development. Canada is the blind horse. Yeah, they're there. They're there. They're going to have a party, and they've got great rugby fans. What are your thoughts on the draw happening so far ahead of the World Cup? Says James Glassoff. Yeah, I mean it's an interesting point, isn't it? What is the next? Why couldn't it be done in another year's time? I know that tickets are going on sale, and they sell tickets in kind of packages, so they quite like fans to be able to buy big chunks of tickets and the logistics of the stadiums. I'm going to take it easy on World Rugby on this one. Football World Cup manages to do it a year beforehand. I don't know why rugby can't, but at least it's better than it was. Like I say, in the past, as I've mentioned, we have had the situation where we haven't even had the teams that in the draw. It's just Oceania 1, which is just crazy. So it's better than it was. Here we go. It's go time.
Australian international Brett Robinson. James Slipper, 151 caps, the most capped Australian Wallaby of all time. Alicia Lucas, the Olympic gold medalist from 2016 in Rio, and two-time World Cup winning champion All Blacks legend Dan Carter. We've allowed him into the studio to help with this as well. Thanks so much to all of you for joining us. Brett, we'll start with you. Just tell us how big an event this will be. Rugby World Cup 2027 back in Australia.
Oh, look, Morgs, as World Rugby Chair, I couldn't be more excited. As Alicia said earlier, we've just had an unbelievable Women's World Cup in England, and to be, a couple of years out now of this iconic, amazing event, I couldn't be more proud. 24 teams now, over seven cities, over 6 weeks.
All right, I just quick shout to FIFA. It's either Fifi Evergreen or Fifey Evergreen. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support on the channel, and thanks so much for watching. I'm having a good time. Hope you are. If you haven't already, I can't believe I've forgotten to say it. Help the algorithm gods. Just do the little thumbs up thing. Takes you no time, costs you no money, but it helps, and it will let other people that don't even know I exist know that this is going on. So that'd be really cool. Thank you.
Home World Cup. So that itself is a massive opportunity for this Wallaby group going into 2027.
What a man. Not sure about Slips's beard, though.
Every time you pull on that Wallaby jersey, you play with pride, your passion, the effort's going to be there. Dealing with the pressure that comes with the Home World Cup, that's going to be telling, and that's something that I'm backing the boys to get over really quickly, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be that #1 supporter there at every game and supporting the boys.
Anyone else think he could have made the World Cup? He was playing great rugby this year. I mean, I understand why he wouldn't want to.
Gold medal in 2016 with the Sevens team. Tell us how big these events are and how hard it is to be in those sorts of competitions.
Yeah, well, just like the Olympics, the Rugby World Cup comes around every 4
Hello,
years.
Jut AWB. Appreciate your support on the channel. Thank you very much. Let me delve into the chat a little bit more, actually. How do I get back to that? Oh, man. Sorry. I'll let them talk while I'm working this out.
The ends of the earth that get brought together for this big, global competition. It's going to be phenomenal, and it's going to be hard work for those that's going to hold that trophy at the end of the day, but it's really exciting.
Well, you mentioned the trophy, and Dan, you've lifted my friend here twice. Tell us what it's like for a player, but also...
I really don't like Morgan Turinui, Welsh Evo. He's better in this role than he is as a commentator. At least on this in this environment, he can't give his thought on refereeing decisions against Australia because... or not given against Australia. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt on this.
And that reminds me of, when I was 5 years of age, the 1987, the inaugural Rugby World Cup, as a 5-year-old boy watching that World Cup.
If Australia do badly in this World Cup, would it be the end of Australian rugby? Never the end of Oz Rugby. They produce amazing athletes. It's just they're not able to keep them all in rugby union. So I would never ever count against Australia being able to get 23 incredible athletes on the field. But yeah. Kyle Killian, I don't know if you Cafe Caprice, Timo. Yeah, I've had some nights in Cafe Caprice. I'm worried some pictures or something are going to pop up on the stream now. Great place in Cape Town, down on what's the bay? I can't remember now. The place where they play Camps Bay. Good night out, especially on a Sunday. There we go. They're the dark horse for the draw for the World Cup in 27. I think people are sleeping on Argentina. They can get a lot better. Chile is so much fun. I'm very happy with how England are tracking. Yeah. Fiji could take some names. At some point, France have got to deliver on the talent that they've got. Hi, JWL or JW Learning for the super chat. Appreciate that. Knowing all the teams now means tier 2 teams get nearly 2 years to prepare. That's a really good point. You're gonna know it works both ways because everyone can plan, but everyone's gonna be able to map out, and we'll go through it. We'll map out the pools, the likely after the pool is made, who will likely meet or could meet, and then all the tactical analysis will begin, all the preparations for all the matches you play. And I think with the pools being as they are, it's going to be easier for the top seeded teams to get through. They're going to coast through, so they can start thinking about preparing for who they will likely have to play. Loïc Voulou 44, I've probably said that wrong. I love your YouTube channel. Cheers from France. Merci beaucoup. Welcome. Tim, I'm proving... All right, so Tim, I'm proving the fact men can multitask. I'm watching your stream and sitting in the world's most boring Teams meeting. Thank you for saving Wednesday morning. Well, do you know what? This Wednesday morning for me, it's my wife's birthday today, so I've taken care of business there. I got up really early, made the coffee, presents, all that, just so I could be clear for this. And then I've also I'm coaching my university team. They've got a big Manchester derby match today against the other university in Manchester, so I'm doing that a bit later. So this is perfect timing, World Rugby. Thank you.
Those bands. The big dogs are there. South Africa and New Zealand, the finalists from our previous World Cup in Band 1, alongside England, Ireland and France, and the impressive Argentina.
Thank you, Pobl. 85. Will Tooney be there? Gregor Townsend, yeah, he'll be in charge of Scotland, I think, in 2 years' time, I do.
Wales and Japan make it into Band 2, right at the end of the ranking system. Georgia, Uruguay, Spain, USA, Chile and Tonga in Band 3. Band 4, Samoa, Portugal, Romania, Hong Kong, China for the first time ever. Zimbabwe,
getting proper excited now. Here we go.
Now 24 teams and Band 4.
You're hearing it, okay? Yeah, you're hearing Morgan Turanui.
These bands.
Just let me know. Quick thumbs up, just to double check.
Samoa did it tough, didn't they, all the way through to repechage, and they did an outstanding job to make it through. But we, of course, want to know what we're going to do with those teams. What pools will they end up in? Starting from Band 4, teams in these bands will randomly be drawn and placed in...
Okay, so like the last time, we're starting with the lowest ranked teams first. Okay, cool.
Support ends up pools A, B, C, D, E and F. So one team from each of those 4 bands into those. And of course, Australia as hosts, they will be pre-placed from Band 2 into Pool A. The hosts are in Pool A. And James Slipper there confirming that the hosts will slip straight in there as Pool A, the second team into there. Before we get started with the draw, we of course want to acknowledge that we have our scrutineer here from BDO to make sure, they've already made sure that all of the teams have been placed into the correct buckets, and they will also be supervising to make sure that we do the right thing in drawing these out randomly so that you can be confident your team is placed where they should be.
Good luck. Good luck. Whatever your affiliation is, good luck. Go well.
Sure. Now, what we will do straight away is go to the great man himself, Dan Carter, will draw out the 6 teams from Band 4. The first team drawn will go straight into Pool F. Dan, if you can pull out the first team, Band 4, Pool F, who will it be?
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. They will return to the
Welcome
Rugby
back,
World
Zim.
Cup via their win in the Africa Men's Cup Champions competition. The first time in over 35 years after last...
That's a great story. That is such a good story.
91. Dan Hu from Band 4 will now go into Pool E.
Samoa.
Samoa, we mentioned how hard it was for them to get there. The last team to qualify for Men's Rugby World Cup, with 2027 Australia marking their 10th appearance at rugby's pinnacle competition, having featured in every tournament since 1991. Dan, who's going into Pool D?
Portugal.
Portugal, their qualification marks their third rugby
Hola, Portugal.
backing up from an impressive campaign in 2023. Pool C, Dan Carter, from this Band 4 cohort, please.
Canada.
Canada take part in their 10th Rugby World Cup, returning after missing the last edition in 2023. They will aim to replicate history in Australia by reaching the knockout phase, which they did in 1991. Who's next, Dan, out of Band 4?
Romania.
Romania will make their 10th appearance at the tournament, further cementing their legacy in the competition. And if we've done it right, Dan Carter, the last team
Hong Kong, China.
into Pool A should be
Hong Kong, China.
Hong Kong.
Ni hao.
Debut after winning the Asia Rugby Men's Championship, making history as only the second ever side to qualify for the tournament from Asia. Well done, Dan. Successfully done there for all those Band 4 nations. Now over to you, Alicia Lucas. No pressure, no pressure. Dan showed it's very, very doable. So, of course, now your first team that comes out from Band 3 will go into Pool F.
Tonga.
Tonga will come straight into Pool F. They'll take part in their 10th Rugby World Cup, having competed
Tonga v Zimbabwe. That'll be fun.
in 1991. Good work mixing it up. We'll draw that one out. This will be for Pool E.
USA.
The USA Men's Rugby World Cup hosts for 2031. The USA will appear in their 9th Rugby World Cup, having last competed at Japan 2019. Next one out will be Pool D.
Uruguay.
Uruguay return for their 6th Rugby World Cup. after
Portugal
winning
v
the
Uruguay,
silver
that's a
medal
cool
in
match.
2025. Great to see them back at a Rugby World Cup. The next team to come out, Alicia Lucas, will be
Spain.
Spain will take part in their 2nd Rugby World Cup and their first in the 20.
They're a bit of a sleeper in the third band of teams. They could get better. Samoa v USA. Samoa will be pretty happy about that pool draw, I reckon.
At the Rugby World Cup in 2027.
Georgia.
Georgia go into Pool B. They booked their spot as winners of the Rugby Europe Men's Championship. Qualifying
Very kind of Eastern European. I like that. Georgia, Romania.
Australia in 2003. And Alicia Lucas, who do we have that will come out and go into
Chile.
Chile?
Straya will be quite happy, I would have said.
That Australia are already in there. Chile, outstanding in making their Rugby World Cup in 2023, became the 23rd team to qualify by beating Samoa in a 2-leg playoff, ensuring a record 5 teams from the Americas will appear in the Australia 2027 lineup. Well done, Alicia. You got through the work there. Now the pressure goes on to the great man himself.
Oh, they're getting straight through it. They're not hanging about. Here we
A
go.
lot of quality there. The rankings from 7 to
This is where it gets very, very tasty.
Remembering Australia already done. The first one out will go into Pool F.
Wales.
Wales go into Pool F, the 3-time semi-finalists and ever-present Wales return for their 11th Rugby World Cup. Pool E, please, James Slipper, from this Band 2.
Fiji, Samoa would be fun.
Japan.
Japan, they'll be aiming to replicate history in Australia by reaching the quarterfinals, a feat that they achieved as hosts in 2019. They go into Pool E. Pool D now from James Slipper, and he has pulled out
Scotland.
Scotland have played at every Rugby World Cup and are aiming to beat that 4th place finish they achieved in 1990.
Scotland, you're making a knockout this time.
From Band 2.
Tricky games, though, for Scotland.
Fiji.
Fiji, 3-time quarter-finalists. Fiji will be aiming for at least the Final 4 as they return for their 10th attempt at Rugby World Cup glory.
Italy.
And Italy have not missed a World Cup and hope to reach the knockout stage for the very first time.
We could have an all-European Pool B, which would be quite interesting. Italy, Georgia, Romania, innit?
With Australia already...
That'd be a point to prove for Georgia, wouldn't it? That they deserve to be at the top table.
6 now, Band 1, and we go to the boss, of course.
Good luck, here we go. Here we go.
Robinson, who is he going to pull out? Pool F, Band 1, the first team into Pool F to complete that pool.
England.
Oh!
Is England. They'll be looking to replicate their success from the
In
last
F.
Rugby World Cup
Yes!
hosted by Australia back in 2003, where they lifted the trophy for their first and only time. Pool E from the Band 1 cohort.
E and F, I think, are the best pools to be in.
France.
France have been the runner-up 3 times, and after a painful ending as hosts in 2023, they are...
England and France, if they top the pool and if they win the knockouts, will not meet another pool winner until the semi-finals.
Ireland.
Ireland, 8-time quarter-finalists. Ireland are back for their 11th attempt at rugby.
Ireland, Scotland again.
They'll be a well-supported team. Into Pool C, Band 1 to join Canada, Fiji and Spain.
Argentina.
Argentina. They've appeared at every Rugby World Cup to date in their impressive current form.
Argentina and Spain in the same pool. Spanish speaking, that's pretty cool. Fiji as well.
2007 in France. Pool B, there's some big names left.
New Zealand,
South
Italy
Africa.
again.
There they are, the 4-time Rugby World Cup champions.
South Africa,
will be
Italy,
looking to become the
Georgia,
first
Romania.
to win
That
3 consecutive tournaments after those outstanding successes in 2019,
tough pool.
2023. And then if we've done this,
Good news for Italy. They avoid South Africa after the pool stages.
they will be
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Oh!
3-time men's Rugby World Cup winners, New Zealand will be looking to go.
Oh, that is a belter.
Final loss.
New Zealand, Australia.
4 of our teams are now placed into their pool.
Wow.
Of course, the big names came out very, very late there. That concludes the draw for Rugby World Cup 2027. Rugby fans, you now know who those teams will be playing in those pools. Thank you to Dan and Alicia, to Slips and Brett for all of your help. Take a
That's that.
moment now.
Right,
to review
now
those
the interesting bit begins. Let's war game this. There are the pools. I've built the pools myself, so I'll bring them up on a slightly bigger screen in a second.
New Zealand and Australia, I think.
Wow, reaction, please. I'll get into the chat in a sec, because that is...
Join them, Hong Kong, China. What a great opportunity for them in their
I don't think there's anyone that's had like a stinker. Well, New Zealand and Australia, that is what... In Australia, in an Australian World Cup, that is dynamite. I mean, that's we're going to be looking forward to that for 2 years. Wow.
Scotland, gee, they know each other well, don't they?
And England v Wales as well. I mean, I don't care how bad Wales are. It's England v Wales. I've been there before, 2015. Don't want to talk about it. Let's not. No, just it never happened.
Australia to play each other. They'll play Tonga and Zimbabwe on their return to Rugby World Cup. It's going to be an absolutely thrilling Rugby World Cup pool stage where we will go through those first 3 matches.
France, Japan, Japan v USA jumps out as well as a cool game.
Every time that we have a round of 16 at a Rugby World Cup. The top 2 teams, of course, from each pool, along with the 4 best third-place finishers, will advance to the knockout phase of the competition.
I'll war game this all out. We'll go through who's playing who, probably likely quarterfinals, round of 16s and stuff. Who's happiest, who's least happy. I'd say England and France are very happy, because if they win the pool, they're in E and F. I do think there's an advantage there, although they will have a tricky round of 16, so I'm not getting ahead of myself. And I would suggest that Italy might think they've got the trickiest one there with Georgia and South Africa in their pool. That's rough.
We are under 2 years away from the Rugby World Cup.
In fact, Italy and Georgia are only separated in world rankings by, I think, 3 spots.
Continues with the match schedule, the all-important knowledge of when and where your teams will be playing.
Right. Let's do this. So I've there you go. Built it myself.
Pre-sale tickets going on sale from the 18th of February.
And,
if you haven't signed up yet, make sure to visit.
Yeah, I'm still hearing Morgan Turinui. There we go. Yeah, so those are the pools. But what's probably more interesting is when we look at that. I'm just going to jump into the chat actually, see what you're saying. Hong Kong are in for a rough time. They're one of the teams making up the numbers. Happy to be there. New Zealand and Australia in their pool. Chile are pretty good as well. Why is it doing that? Oh no, it's fine. Sorry. Boks v All Blacks. Boks v All Black quarter-final. This is what I was talking about with Pool E and F. Let's talk about this. So we have. Let's go through this. So there is the knockout stage. The winner of Pool A, which could be Australia and it could be New Zealand. That's such a tough pool, Pool A. The winner of Pool A will play the third place, one of the third place teams. And then if they win that, they will play the winner. Let's say it goes by the winner of Pool B. New Zealand versus South Africa could be a quarter-final. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Well, it could be Australia as well. I'm going to say it's unlikely to be Italy or Georgia, but let's just say that. But it's looking like, if it goes with world rankings, if we just do that, it's South Africa against New Zealand, quarter-final. Brutal. And then the other pool winner on that side of the draw is Pool E, which is France. So I think England have got the best draw, because they avoid any other pool winner until the semi-final, and they avoid South Africa, New Zealand or Australia, and France. That's massive. Which would make the runner-up in Pool D is who France would get. Let's go through this, sorry. The ones that we know to be true. If we just go on world rankings for this one, there could be upsets. There's 2 years to go. All of those caveats are in there. Wales could beat England, for example. I'm not getting ahead of myself. Pool E winner, let's just say it's France. Against the Pool D runner-up, which is Ireland or Scotland. So let's just say if it goes with world rankings, France v Scotland, round of 16. Scotland could be out in the round of 16. Or they could take a scalp of France. They've done it before. And then they will face the winner of the runner-up of Pool C, which if we go on world rankings would be Fiji, against the runner-up of Pool F. Fiji against Wales. Fiji-Wales, there we go. We could get Fiji-Wales in the round of 16. And let's say it goes with world rankings, Fiji come through, France v Fiji as a quarter-final. You've got to be thinking, while you take nothing for granted, you've got to be relatively happy if you're France. And it could then be France v South Africa or France v New Zealand semi-final. On the other side of the draw, again, I'm only going with world rankings. I don't want this to be used against me in future when England lose to Wales or get knocked out by... So we've got the runner-up of Pool A against the runner-up of Pool E, which would be, let's say Australia, for example, against Japan. Australia v Japan could be that round of 16 fixture. And then the winner of Pool F, which let's go with form England against the runner-up in Pool B, Italy. England v Italy. England would have to back themselves, taking nothing for granted, meaning the quarter-final would be England against either Australia or Japan. England-Australia quarter-final, let's say. And in the other part, you've got the winner of Pool C, Argentina, let's say. And in the quarterfinal would meet, let's say, the winner of Pool D, which would be Ireland. Argentina, Ireland, England v Fiji. Is how that could work out. Where are Argentina in the draw actually? Where's the Pool C winner? Where's the Pool C winner? I must have got that wrong. Oh no, Pool C winner, Argentina. Sorry, Argentina against Ireland. Argentina, Ireland, England, Fiji. England and France have come out best in that, haven't they? So there is an imbalance in the draw, isn't there? There is. There's no getting around it. That is brutal. If you're New Zealand, you are pig sick right now, or Australia if they win the pool. That looks brutal. Right, I want to dive into the chat here because I really want to know what you're saying. England are lucky. Yeah, 100%. And it's brutal. It could have been any team in that situation. E and F, as I identified before the draw even began, those are the pools to be in. And what some said was an imbalance in the draw. Yes, you get an easier round of 16. You're playing one of the third place teams, but then you're playing another pool winner in the quarterfinal. And it's just so happened that the two most successful Rugby World Cup teams of all time, if they both win their pool, South Africa and New Zealand, are on a collision course for a quarterfinal. That is brutal. Scotland, France could be, is a knockout matchup. Right, let me work this out. Are Ireland getting to a semi-final? I'm not laughing at your expense, Ireland, but let's just work that one out. Ireland are in Pool D. Okay, and the winner of Pool D, if they finish ahead of Scotland, if they win the pool, then the winner of Pool D will play the winner of Pool C. So Ireland, Argentina. Ireland, I don't think they could have. Argentina were a really tough team, and they have to get past Scotland first to win their pool. But I think Ireland would have to think the draw is a lot better than 2023, both the pool and what happens next. And they've got Scotland again, but they don't have South Africa. And what could happen next? Argentina, well, you'd rather be there than playing against the Boks in the quarterfinal, right? Wow. Ireland would need to beat Argentina. Yeah, I don't think so in 2027. Well, Argentina are going to get 2 years better. Ireland have got some room for development, but Argentina's scrum hasn't been great, to be honest. Traditionally, it always was, but their backs are dynamite, but their scrum hasn't been good. That was the Achilles heel for them. Argentina are a better team than Ireland. Yeah, and they're tracking in a better direction. I'm going to ask you again, if you appreciate the content, I'd love to let as many people know this is happening, so just the thumbs up really helps, but happy with that draw as an Ireland fan. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, George Cunningham, I would be. I mean, there's no easy draw, and it's not trying to take things for granted, suggesting you'll definitely get through. But England is very lucky. Yeah, I mean, there was the argument made in 2023 that England were fortunate and had a relatively easy route to the semi-final. And that was not a great England team that did well. When they got to the semi-final, they still had to play South Africa, and they were one scrum away from winning that one. So, but yes, England and France are England in particular, because they avoid the side of the draw that South Africa and New Zealand are on. We will lose against Italy. Is that England? Oh no, we will lose against Italy because we want to knock England out. South Africa. Yeah, South Africa are just going to roll over. Rassie playing 5D chess to line up a quarter-final against England. England v Ireland semi-final. Wild. It could pan out that way. Well, here's the thing. So, if we go above our own national interest for a second and we look at World Rugby and the sport overall, there is a golden opportunity for one team that has never won the Rugby World Cup to make it to a final. Ireland and Argentina have a golden opportunity. If they do their job in the pool stages, they have a golden opportunity to make it. And Fiji as well, actually, could cause an upset. But Argentina and Ireland in particular, if you just go by world rankings, they have a golden opportunity to make a World Cup final. And that, for the sport overall, would be incredible. But I just can't get over how brutal that side of the draw is. Can I simulate it right now? Yes, I will take you through it. I will take you through it. Chile should make the round of 16. That's another thought. I haven't even gone into which third place teams are likely to make it. Let me look at that. Let's look at that. Right, which third place teams are likely to make the knockout stages? Georgia should beat Romania, and they could pick up a bonus point against Italy, either tries or losing bonus point. Chile should beat Hong Kong and beat them well. Yeah, I agree with that. 5 points. Spain could get bonus points, try bonus points in their matches. Argentina v Spain, the Spanish-speaking match. That's a really, really cool matchup. Here you go. Uruguay and Portugal, both well-matched, good teams. They could cancel each other out. If it's a tight game and they only get 4 points, whoever wins that one, that could mean they don't go through, because it could just be 5 points. One win with a try bonus point gets you through to the next stage. So we could have a situation where Samoa or the USA or Japan get more points in fourth place than a team in third place gets to go through. Because that pool, France, you would think, are going to cruise through their pool. And Japan, USA and Samoa, in 2 years' time, that could be a proper bum fight. Tonga, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, they could get through. They could cause an upset. That could be an amazing story. I think Georgia, Chile. I'm gonna say Samoa. If they get if they get some players back. the story of the pools, the interesting part, the jeopardy in the pools is which third place teams get through. But it's rough when you map out how it goes. Let's go back to that World Cup draw. Sorry. Has the draw begun? The draw has finished. If you're joining me now, the draw has finished. And yeah, let me just get you up to speed because there's new people joining all the time. That is the pools for the Rugby World Cup 2027. And as I identified before the pools began, and I'll war game this out one more time, the pools that I thought before the pool that were advantageous to be in were Pool E and Pool F. If you're one of the top teams, that is, because if you are one of the top teams and if you finish top in Pool E and Pool F, you play a runner-up of another pool in the round of 16 and you play another runner-up from the pools in the quarterfinals, meaning you don't play another pool winner until the semi-finals. And the way it's panned out is we have on one side of the draw England, Ireland, Argentina, and on the other side of the draw New Zealand, South Africa, France. And the headlines here are New Zealand and South Africa, if they win their pools, are on a course to play each other in the round of six in the quarterfinal. And then if it all pans out true to form and world ranking, then the winner of that will play France in a semi-final. Brutal. And it's not quite the same as 2023, but it's similar because those three teams are all on collision courses with each other, which is rough. See, not the first time anyone said this. Forrest says Rassie must slip up in the game against Italy to face England in the quarterfinals. Don't do that, Rassie. Don't do that. He won't do that. He'd never do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Obvious pro-England conspiracy from World Rugby demonstrated again. Yeah, clearly conspiracy. Ireland has a tough enough pool. Scotland, Uruguay, Portugal. Yeah. I really enjoyed doing this with you. Thank you for that. Wales really lucky they squeaked into 12th. Otherwise, they would be in Pool B. That's a really good point. Oh, my word. That's a great point. That injury time winner against Japan, and then also Japan beating Georgia with an injury time kick to win it. Those two results together meant that Wales are here and not there. And life would have been very tough. So, back to the World Cup draw. There we go. Oh, Hondre is needed. That is such a good chat there. Carlin. This is why you have players like Hondre Pollard, because Sasha FM is a wild, prodigious talent. Maybe the greatest since Dan Carter, who's on the panel there. Time will tell on that front. And Marnie Lebock is incredible on his day. I was there in Marseille for that no-look kick pass to Kurtley Arendse against Scotland in the opening match. Wild talents, but the clutch king might be needed if you're playing against New Zealand in the quarterfinal and France in the semi-final. Uruguay will target Scotland. Scotland are the underdogs. Yeah, do you know what? Scotland, they could finish top of the pool firstly. But even if they finish second in the pool, they can get through. They could spring an upset on France and make it to a semi-final. Definitely. Love the crying about England. No one. The conspiracy chat was a joke, right? No one thinks World Rugby are actually conspiring to get England a clean run through. Look, I feel grateful for the pool draw, but Fiji nearly beat England at the last World Cup in a quarter-final. It's the best side of the draw to be on. It's the best position to be in. Don't get me wrong. Here we go then. So the pool, let me war game this. If you're just joining me, let's do it again to go through. The Pool A winner, which will be either, you would imagine, New Zealand, most likely, or Australia, quite possibly, home World Cup. Pool A winner, New Zealand or Australia, will be on a collision course in the quarterfinal to play the Pool B winner, which is most likely South Africa, unless they have some Rassie 5D chess and slip up against Italy. So New Zealand or Australia against South Africa in a quarterfinal. And then runner-up in Pool C, which is Argentina and Fiji's pool. So it could be Argentina or Fiji, but let's just say Fiji, for example. Runner-up in Pool C against the runner-up in Pool F, which is England and Wales' pool. So let's say Wales. So Fiji against Wales, round of 16. That'll be a dynamite game, and it could mean that order is restored, and we do have Wales against Fiji. And then they will play in the quarterfinal the Pool E winner, which is France, Japan, USA, Samoa's pool. So it's going to be France, isn't it? So they will play France, who will have their round of 16 game against... Well, no, actually, I'm saying that. I need to back up. France will get that spot in as Pool E winner, but then they will play Ireland or Scotland. So that is filled with danger. Quarter-final, Ireland or Scotland, whoever finishes second in that pool. So there's a massive incentive to win Pool D. That Ireland-Scotland game is massive. Absolutely massive. New Zealand v Australia is massive, although the advantage for... No, actually, that's not. Because the advantage for winning it is, well done, congratulations, you've won the pool, you get South Africa in a quarter-final. What happens to the runner-up in Pool A? The runner-up in Pool A plays... Right. Is it better if you're New Zealand and Australia? I would suggest you might want to lose the match against the other. They will never approach it this way. But I would lose. You want to lose against Australia if you're New Zealand. That's not crazy to say, is it? It's like the players will never approach it like that. Yeah. You do not want to... Yeah, I'm going to say it. You want to finish second in Pool A. Well, there you go. And the runner-up in Pool A will be on the other side of the draw, playing against the runner-up in Pool E, which will be probably Japan. So, and then in the quarter-final, you would get most likely England. So your route to a semi-final, if you are New Zealand or Australia, is either winning the pool and you get the box in the quarter-final, or coming runner-up in the pool and you get Japan and then England. I know which way I'd be going. I would be... Oh, yeah, we've got a lot of injuries. Will Jordan. Oh, yeah, he's got a hamstring injury. Yeah, Caleb Clark. Oh, yeah, sorry, we're... But then again, we're going to be talking about that one for a long time, that match. And Scotland v Ireland is huge as well. Yeah, Cameron Lemon, you're talking like a proper rugby fan, and you're talking like elite rugby players talk, and not like an idiot here. If we duck South Africa, we don't deserve to win, of course. The ultimate goal is that golden pot, and it's not about getting to a semi-final or a final. It's about winning. So, yeah. Would South Africa rather play New Zealand or England in the quarter-final? South Africa aren't finishing second in their pool. Not a chance. So it's that's not going to happen. I love how many teams try so hard to avoid the Springboks. Well, have you seen them blimmin' play at the minute? Sasha will cook in the pool games and Hondre will come in time for the knockouts. Yeah. I'm going to get stuck into the chat here. Do you think Rassie will pull a new move out of the bag? He's got plenty up his sleeve, I'm sure. Losing to Italy is not going to be one of them. Use snip and paste to drag the teams across. So I can't. Sorry. I wish I could do that. I can't do that. Sorry. I'll do that on a video in a bit. Okay, but I can't do that now. But that would be a great shout. Think you have to play the best teams to win. So the draw is the draw. Winning it all is all that counts. Yeah, absolutely right. Hit that like button, says the Roman 81. Yes, do that. Appreciate it. Long drop Bota Pollard to win the quarter-final for the Boks. Yeah, I mean, it's got clutch written all over it. That's quarter-final, semi-final route. What would you say is the pool of death? The New Zealand v Australia pool? New Zealand v Australia is the pool of death because the winner gets death in the quarterfinals. Yeah, but any game and knockout matches as well. It's a very different setup to it's a one-off game. Anything can happen. A card can change it. One moment can change it. Is this good for Australia? Is this good for Australia? If it goes to form and world rankings, thank you for your question, by the way, Hanno. Is it good for Australia? If it goes with form, then I'd say it's all right for Australia. They'll be trying to beat New Zealand. They'll want to win on home soil at a Rugby World Cup, no question. And they'd back themselves in any given game. I was at Ellis Park and watched them take down South Africa. They're capable of doing it, and they'd back themselves. But the cushion of finishing second is much, much better because you'll get Japan, then likely England, if it all goes to form. I'm caveating that all the time because I just don't want to be reminded of this in the future. What is the best outcome for England, in your opinion? Getting a final is doable for England. I'm not saying it will happen, but that is, I'd say it's they can believe they can make a final. They'd believe they could make a final if they were playing on the other side of the draw. But you'd rather avoid South Africa, you'd rather avoid New Zealand and France if it all goes to form. Screw this drop kick BS. Sasha FM can step them all. Yeah, it's scary how good he could be in 2 years' time. Not convinced of the 14 pools. Rugby World Cup does not start until halfway through the competition. You are right. If we jump back to the pool stages and what that looks like, yes, you are absolutely right to say that in the chat. There's not much jeopardy in the pool stages. Pool E, for example. Although no, I'm gonna go back on that. Yeah, Pool B and Pool E doesn't look like there's much jeopardy. You'd imagine, again, a lot can change in 2 years, but you'd imagine South Africa will beat Italy, France will beat Japan, and they'll win their pools with 3 victories. New Zealand v Australia, there's jeopardy there. Argentina v Fiji, the game's against 1 and 2. England v Wales, in 2 years' time, it's England v Wales. I don't care where Wales are right now. England v Wales, in 2 years' time, that could be very different, a one-off game. Ireland v Scotland as well. So 4 of the pools, I think those matches against first v second is huge. And because there is a carrot of the 4 teams that finished third getting through to the knockout stage, I think for Chile, Georgia, Romania, Spain, Canada, sorry, I didn't mean to not say Hong Kong, but I mean, who knows what can happen in 2 years' time. For those 3rd, 4th place teams, it's massive. And those games are going to be some of the best to watch. And if you think about the last Rugby World Cup, the last 2 Rugby World Cups, in fact, 2 World Cups ago, 2019, Uruguay beating Fiji was one of the most amazing moments. That interview, I get goosebumps when I even think about it. I wish I could remember his name now. But the interview with the captain afterwards and him saying that, him in tears, was one of the most amazing moments. Gamaro, is that his name? You would never have had that moment. You would have had that moment, but that was like their World Cup final. They had nothing else to play for. Now there is a carrot of a knockout match. The last World Cup, Portugal, those scenes, and Portugal, that was just a one-off match that they won. They went nowhere. They didn't get through to the knockout stages, but it was incredible. And now a win like that could be transformative. And actually, if you're someone like Uruguay or Portugal, you might think, well, actually, we'll have a pop at Scotland. I don't expect them to win. 2 years is a long time, but now they can start planning. And thank you to whoever said it in the chat earlier. There is now, for teams like Uruguay and Portugal, they have 2 years to prep for Scotland and to come up with a plan. And Patrice Lagisquet, the Portugal coach last time, hatched a plan, worked on it 2 years, and look what he managed to do with Portugal. And that is going to be amazing. Georgia have 2 years to plan for Italy. And that's huge. They can throw everything into just analysing, preparing for Italy. That's amazing. Spain, you can see... Right, so Fiji have been the team that have lost to Portugal, lost to Uruguay in the last 2 World Cups. Could Spain be a team that in 2 years' time could beat Fiji? I would suggest they could. They've got 2 years to prepare for Fiji. It's going to be interesting. Right. Yeah, a lot of people are saying the same thing. Stop saying that South Africa are going to bomb the game against Italy to meet England in the quarterfinals. I don't want to see it. Stop talking about it, Eugene. Rassie gonna Rassie. Oh dear. Okay, great work, Tim. Got to go to work. I'm now late. Yeah, well, I have to go and get ready for the rugby match I'm coaching in a little bit. Spain nearly beat England 8. Yeah, good point. Spain are getting better. Spain has it in them. They're pretty good at 7s. Yeah, Spain has it in them in 2 years. Thank you very much. Appreciate that super chat. A Safa in Australia. Tim, I've been watching you since the beginning in the camper van. You were a breath of fresh air with your unbiased opinion then. Legend now. Keep doing what you do. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. It's cold tea, but cheers to you. I'll have a cold one with that $10, and I really, really appreciate that. The World Cup last time was where this channel kind of took off, and I'm already looking forward to 2027. Although not wishing a day away, because we've got some big matches before then. So I'll spend a little bit more time in the chat. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Let me know, and I'll get them out to the world. South Africa need to lose a pool game. Stop it. I don't want them to. The way it looks, if New Zealand and the Boks win all their games, they'll face each other in the semis. Yeah, exactly right. That's the big takeaway from this. And as a consequence, one of the big takeaways is there is not a bad position to be in Pool A, because you either face South Africa in the quarterfinals, or you lose your pool and you get to go to the other side and avoid probably South Africa and France. Thank you, 85 Eldon. Appreciate you. I'm getting brought a coffee. Thank you very much.
Can I come and say hello?
No.
Okay.
Go away. I'm talking rugby.
Bye. Bye. Okay, sorry.
It's fine. It's absolutely fine. There you go. Got a fresh one. So I've got the length of this coffee in the chat. How do you think Sasha will handle the pressure of the World Cup? Like he's handled every rugby match so far, just totally chill. He could be the face of rugby. We've got Antoine Dupont already, Peter Steph the Toy, like as a legend. But if you were making a video game now, if you were making Rugby 27 video game, who would you pick? If you were in like a marketing room and picking if you had to pick one person to put on the cover of that video game, you pick Sasha. She is a keeper. She is, and it's her birthday. So she brought me a coffee on her birthday. I should be taking her coffees. When are we getting this John Smith and Bismarck Duplessis video? I'll get to it this week. Thank you. Don't be rude with the wife. I wasn't. It was Bants. I was up very early this morning, made sure she was looked after on her birthday. Great stuff, Tim, but you can't spell Portugal. Oh yeah, Portugal. Sorry about that. To my friends in Portugal. Is England in a good position to make the semi-finals? Always. We're England. No, I'm joking. I'm not being that arrogant Englishman. Yeah, it looks that way. It looks that way. Ireland to win a knockout game, finally. Well, actually, I think Ireland have won a knockout game. There was once a round of 16 before in a previous World Cup. Have I had a fever dream and imagined that? I think that's correct. I'm pretty sure that's correct. But they've never got past the quarter-final. Is this their time? Pool B. We don't have a pool of death. We have a pool of scrums. That's a great shout. Georgia, they love to scrum. They deadlift for days. They come out of the womb deadlifting. And in Italy, they did all right against South Africa, didn't they? Last month. They did all right. Danilo Fischetti actually got some parity with Vilko Low, which I cannot think of another prop that's managed to do that on the international stage this year. He did well. He won some scrum penalties. Now, some people have pointed out there may have been some illegality in his scrummaging, but hey, got away with it. Happy days. The Six Nations are going to be very experimental. Again, I hadn't even considered this. Yeah, it suddenly puts the games that are coming up in a different light, doesn't it? Now the reality is there and the pools are there and teams can start planning for the specific matches they've got in a World Cup. That is the focus, isn't it? Whilst you want to win a Six Nations, it's about more than that. Sorry, an advert just popped up when I was watching my stream. Do you think George Ford will make the starting 15 in 2 years' time? Yeah, I think he could. He's 32. He's 32. That's young for rugby players now. High-level recap, please. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll go through the whole thing one more time. So you see in the screen, I built this myself. Look, I built it on a little software program that I have. I built it so that I could... Oh, no, not that. I didn't want to do that. I built it so I could pull all of the teams in and out of the pools as they were drawn. this is how the pools are landed. This is the pools for the Rugby World Cup 2027. 6 pools of 4 teams who will all play each other once. So in the pool stages, 3 matches per team. And that's 1 fewer than last time when there was 4 pools of 5. It's been expanded by 4 teams, 6 pools of 4. And everyone plays everyone. 3 games instead of 4 in the pool stage. And the top 2 teams advance automatically, the winner and the runner-up of each pool. And the 4 best performing third place teams also go through, which will be decided by points. And then points difference. And then I think tries after that. And then a flip of a coin, I imagine, if there's anything else on it. So that's one of the biggest changes, that there are some runner-up spots. 4 third-place teams will go through, and they will advance to a new round of 16, meaning the Rugby World Cup this time is 52 matches, not 48 matches, so we get slightly more games, even though there's 1 fewer round of pool matches. And then as we look at the actual draw itself, as you see the chat catching back up on that screen, there you go. You can map out. In fact, shall I try making that one bigger for a second? Let me do this. Let me do this so we can have a proper look. There you go. That is the World Cup pool. So I'm just going to turn off the stream. The official stream is finished and the music's still playing, so I'm going to turn that off. There we go. So here we go. We can get right into this one. So, unfortunately, I can't drag the names of the countries onto the different squares. I will get round to doing that when I can. But, in fact, is there a way that I can do... No, I can't. Don't worry. There we go. So I'll take you through the pools again. Pool A, New Zealand, Australia, Chile, Hong Kong. So likely the first place and second place will be between that match between New Zealand and Australia, which on Australian soil is going to be huge. That's one of the standout matches of the pool stage. New Zealand against Australia. The winner of that match is going to be on the top left of the round of 16, playing against one of the third place teams. So likely, more than likely, to win and win handsomely in the round of 16. They will be able to rest some players, get players back from injury, try some tactical things out ahead of the quarterfinals. They will get through to the quarterfinals. That will be the winner of that New Zealand-Australia game, more than likely, will be in the quarterfinals against, most likely, the winner of Pool B, which is South Africa, Italy, Georgia, Romania. So right now, if it was the World Cup, you'd say heavy, heavy favourites to get to the quarterfinals, South Africa against either New Zealand or Australia, most likely the team that wins the match between the two of them. That is box office, and I'm spelling that B-O-X, not B-O-K-S, for the record. I'm not saying who's going to win. But New Zealand or Australia against South Africa in a quarterfinal. The runner-up in Pool A, New Zealand or Australia, most likely the loser, will go to the top right of the draw in purple that you can see there, and we'll play the runner-up in Pool E, which will be the pool that is most likely going to be won by France. So the runner-up could be Japan, could be Samoa. So much easier, well, a slightly trickier round of 16 match. But then in the quarterfinal, they will play either the winner of Pool F, which is England, Wales, Tonga and Zimbabwe's pool. So most likely England, who will have to play in their round of 16. England will have to play the runner-up in South Africa's pool. So if Italy beat South Africa in their pool match, it would be England v South Africa in the round of 16. Brutal. But it could be England-Italy in a round of 16, which is still doable. Italy could do that. They are getting better all the time. They have got some incredible players. Zuliani and Menincello are wild. I've already said how well they did at scrum time against South Africa. So that's going to be tricky. So this is the lopsided nature of the draw. Is either you get a nice, relatively easy on paper round of 16 game against the third place team, or you get a pool runner up. And England have got the trickier round of 16 game, but overall look to have a smoother run to the semi-finals. Although, like I say, it could be the case that England play New Zealand in a quarter-final if they get through Italy. Because if Australia top Pool A, New Zealand go over to the other side and are on course to play England in a quarter-final. So there you go. That's the sort of top half, right and left of the draw taken care of. If we look at the bottom half, those pink, blue, yellow and other blue teams, Pool C is Argentina, Fiji, Spain, Canada. And the runner-up of that pool, which will be decided probably by that Argentina v Fiji match. The loser of that one will be runner-up of Pool C against the runner-up of Pool F, which is England and Wales' pool. Let's just say it's Wales for argument's sake. So that would be Fiji v Wales, could be the most likely quarterfinal there. Could be Argentina v Wales, could be Fiji v England, who knows. Pool E winner waits for them in the quarterfinal. As long as they get through, the Pool E winner, most likely France, against the runner-up in Pool D, which is most likely Ireland v Scotland. The loser of that game will be there at the bottom left of the draw and waits to face France. So a very Six Nations feel for Ireland playing against Scotland in the pool stages and, well, Ireland or Scotland playing France in the round of 16. So the Pool D runner-up has a brutal time of it as well. They may not make a quarter-final. So if Ireland lose to Scotland, they face France in a round of 16, which would be brutal. And there you go. Pool C runner-up and Pool F runner-up, which is, let's say, Wales and Fiji, against Pool E winner France and Pool D runner-up, let's say, Scotland. So it's most likely going to be Fiji-France. If we were going on world rankings, Fiji-France in the quarterfinals. And then that would be Fiji-France, South Africa, New Zealand or Australia, and they would meet in a semi-final. So again, if the pool winners are the top seeds, on one side of the draw, you will have South Africa, New Zealand, and France. Collision course, semi-finals, 2 of those 3 teams. But who knows? Because who knows who's going to be runner-up? And as, again, someone said in the chat brilliantly, one of my favourite comments of the day, there is 2 years to prepare. And you just never know. And a lot can change. It's one of the reasons why people are saying the draw should be done in another year's time. Oh, dearie me. Do you think Henry Pollock will be a standout player by the World Cup? Says Liam van der Heever. I mean, it depends on how you're measuring standout player, because he's already a standout player. But that's not always for the rugby. He's a really talented rugby player as well. I've just got to say thank you for that. Thank you very much. Nalternative says, happy birthday to the wifey. I will buy her a drink. We'll go out for a happy hour cocktail with that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your support on the channel. Thank you. Jump back to the live chat. There we go. I'm getting used to this now. I had a mate last night who just helped me out set this thing up, because I haven't got a clue. Like I say, this channel it's just me. I don't have any help on it. I want to get some help, actually. I think I need to level up for 2026. So if you know anyone that wants a gig, let me know. When will the dates and times of matches be announced? Yeah, that must be soon. What I do know is the tickets go on sale in February. So sometime between now and then. I don't know. Good point. About fixtures we could have had and haven't had. Hong Kong, China versus Japan would have been weird. Yeah, and quite cool. Also, fixtures that we haven't got that I wish we had got. We could have had a pool with Fiji, Tonga and Samoa in it. That would have been incredible. 163k subs, says Hugh Phillips. I remember when you had just over 10k. Mate, it's been a wild ride, and I'm very grateful. Italy to win Group B and South Africa v England. Stop saying it. I don't want anyone to will that into being. I don't want that. I don't want that. And plus, England have to beat Wales first. Tim, give us your semi-final prediction. Semi-final prediction: South Africa v France on the left-hand side of the draw, and England versus Argentina or Ireland. I'm going to say England v Ireland. No. England v Argentina. 2 more years development, England v Argentina. It's going to be semi-finals. If I had to predict it right now, on the left-hand side of the draw, South Africa versus France. Wow. I kind of wanted that. I would have liked that to have been France and South Africa on the opposite side of the draw. I do think those are the best two teams. And projecting forwards 2 years, I do think that would be the best quality final we could have, but would be an amazing semi-final. And on the other side of the draw, England v Argentina. Which would mean on either side of the draw, if it pans out like that, then you would have one side in a semi-final. In each semi-final, you would have a former winner and the current champions. And on either side of the draw, you would also have a team that has never won a World Cup. And anything at that point can happen. He's in your head. He's in your head. Just stop talking about Rassie Erasmus throwing the Italy game. I've just, you know that one picture of Rassie Erasmus where he's just laughing his head off. I've just got that in my head now. Like watching Italy win, and no, not going to happen. So there's no pool of death. No, I don't think there is a pool of death. Do you think Marcus Smith will play 10 or 15 in Rugby World Cup 2027? A lot is made in England about the fly half position. I think it's the same in most countries. They talk about the fly half position a lot. I don't mind who starts. I love Marcus Smith if he's starting. I think George Ford's amazing. I'm quite happy if he's starting. Finn Smith looks the real deal. Quite happy if he's starting. Owen Farrell, quite happy if he starts. I am one of the few people that doesn't get my knickers in a twizz about which of those great players is fly half. And I think South Africans are in the same boat. The fly half position is given so much emphasis. When you're in a position where you've got lots of good ones, I'll let the coach select. I would imagine, though, that Marcus Smith, one thing I would say, he hasn't done yet, but it's early days. What he hasn't done yet is, over a consistent period of time, grab games by the scruff of the neck and win big matches. But then again, maybe he hasn't had enough opportunity to do that in the fly half position because he's always had Owen Farrell on the scene. But you've got to win your spot first and then deliver. Ireland are going all the way. Roy Batty lives. Roy, I'm glad you're optimistic. If I think in Ireland, no one getting ahead of themselves, they've got to focus on beating Scotland to win the pool. But Ireland with the potential to face, what would it be? Likely Argentina and then England as a quarterfinal, semi-final is as good as Ireland could hope for. Anyone that gets to a final or a semi-final is going to have to beat someone very good to get there, but you cannot complain. If you're England and Ireland, you cannot complain. The ranks-driven simulation sees an England v South Africa final. It does. That will be Kickfest 27. England will 100% just go aerial bombs all day. Which, yeah. Man. Will New Zealand get better by 2027? Yes, they will. New Zealand will 100% get better, to the point that it's only on a simulation that South Africa make it to a final. Because New Zealand, in 2 years' time, they've got amazing players. One of the things I noticed in Chicago, when I went to watch that game there, in their warm-up, they spend more time than any other international team just doing core skills, handling. And when you just watch it, they are so amazing at their core skills. Right to left to right, players not breaking stride, ball down the line. They're amazing at it. Australia is going to be fast tracks. It's going to be dry for the most part, you would imagine. And it's down in that neck of the woods. New Zealand have got to beat Australia in their pool match and then game on. England get another free pass. One scrum from a World Cup final in 23. Just remind you, one scrum from a World Cup final. How much bigger does the greatest rivalry year tour next year now become? That's going to be one of the chats in the backdrop, isn't it? To the games next August and September. These are big games preparation for a quarter final. Then again, what will happen immediately afterwards, whoever loses the series or wins the series will then at the end of it go, it means nothing. If we meet in a World Cup quarter final, that is a one-off game and the past is irrelevant. So, yeah, I guess so. Tim, do you now think nines is as important as tens? Well, Thank you, Sean Barrett, New Zealand. Yes, different cultures, rugby cultures. This is one thing I've learned as I've done a little bit more travelling. In France, number 9 is the main playmaker. And consequently, you get a lot of fly halves who also play scrum half, and they play the two. They can just seamlessly fit into either. In England, culturally, the scrum half's job is just to get the ball to the 10 because they're the guy that makes the decision. I think, for example, if Marcus Smith or George Ford were French, they would be scrum halves who can also play fly half. Like so many petit generals, they call them. And that's the style of play. England, it's much more structure-based. And so the 9 gets the ball to 10 and then they make the decision. Whereas in France, and also I'd say in New Zealand as well, the game management is split much more between 9 and 10. And actually you've got teams now who are doing that with fullbacks as well. Their game managers are fullbacks. Damien Philemse at fullback. It's a very kind of he comes into the line as a second receiver loads when he plays at 15, more than Apolele Fassi, who they play a different game when he's 15. So yes, I do. In answer to your question, thank you very much. I do think 9s are getting more and more important, and Alex Mitchell is taking more and more responsibility as a game manager with England as England start to shift their style a little bit, although they have gone back to more of a kicking game. Stefan, thank you very much. Appreciate you. I appreciate you in the chat. If New Zealand faces South Africa in a final, I think South Africa win. If New Zealand faces South Africa in a quarter, I think New Zealand win. Well, here we go. This is it, isn't it? This is it. England v South Africa could be unreal in a final, says Crosswind Pike. Hopefully competitive this time. Well, the semi-final was competitive, but yeah, final 2019. Honestly, I'm glad. It's probably for the best that I wasn't doing a video in didn't have a channel in 2019. I was just I was so depressed on that day. I was so depressed watching that match. The week before, having played maybe the best game of rugby I've seen England play since 2003 against New Zealand in that semi-final. England were the favourites going into the final. What happened? Anyway, this World Cup will be remembered as the Sasha FM show. I think he is the face of rugby. There's lots of stars, though. It could be... who could be the other stars of the standout star? Louis Bielbiere in 2 years' time. Imagine how good he'll be. Dupont, he's got to go and do it in the Southern Hemisphere. Let's see. Let's hope he's fit and well, because he is a wild talent. And he'll only be, 29, 30 maybe then. Will Jordan. Henry Pollock. 2 years' time. Pollock will be the one that the cameras always focus on. How's that coffee, Tim? It's getting cold. I'm not drinking it. Thank you very much, Brian Moffat. It's good, though. I'm a bit of a coffee snob. I do like my coffee. What's become of the two guys who used to do the audio egg chasers with? Oh, mate. They're my mates. So there's an audio podcast which I've been doing since 2015. We talk about English rugby in the Premiership, really. But still do that every Sunday evening. Good mates of mine. We all live close together. We just get together, crack a beer and chat about rugby every Sunday. It's one of my happy places. It's good. Kanan Moody. Yeah, he could be a star. Yeah, he is a star in the making. Ethan Hooker. I mean, so many good young players. Right. I am going to say Pollock is licking his lips for the Boks in the final. That image. Right, there is still over 2,000 people, and I really thank you very much for that. I do have a rugby team to go and coach. I coach at Manchester Metropolitan University, which is like you've got the big posh uni in Manchester, University of Manchester, and you've got the sort of the young upstarts, where the people that don't get the highest grades, although they're very good in some subjects. So we're like the underdogs. And we're playing Uni of Manchester are playing Manchester Metropolitan today. And It's a massive game. So this is a big day all round. It's my wife's birthday today, World Cup draw, and massive Manchester derby, and I've got to go and do my coaching thing. So thank you so much. I genuinely mean it. So last week I was in the walkabout in Cardiff and had John Smith and Bismarck Duplessis. I will put that out as an episode on here soon. I've got to edit it all together and stuff. Just finding time. But there was 350 people bought tickets for that, and I was like, this is mad. Like how did this happen? How did this end up here? And then I'm sat here just chatting to other rugby nuts, and it feels great. And I really like how good-natured the community that we have here is, and I feel blessed. So congratulations or commiserations, however you feel about the World Cup draw. There'll be lots of content to do before then, but yeah,